So, have you ever heard a sound in your house that you just couldn't explain? A little bump in the night, a creak on the stairs. For the Johnson family, it started with something much more chilling. Just a week after moving into their dream home, a charming old house on the edge of a quiet town, the whispers began. It was late. The kids were asleep, and Mark and Sarah were watching a movie when they first heard it. A faint, muffled sound from below. It sounded almost like a child crying. They paused the movie, listening intently. Silence. They shrugged it off. Old houses make strange noises, right? But the next night, it happened again. This time it was louder, more distinct. Tear. It sounded like a scream of pure terror, followed by a desperate, scratching sound, coming directly from beneath the living room floorboards. Their blood ran cold. Mark, armed with a flashlight, cautiously descended into the dusty, web-filled cellar. The air was thick and musty. He swept the light across the damp stone walls and the packed earth floor. Nothing. No sign of anyone or anything. But as he turned to leave, his light caught something on the underside of the wooden floorboards above him. Scratches. Deep, frantic gouges in the wood, as if a wild animal had been trapped down there, trying to claw its way out. They looked strangely fresh. The sounds became a nightly torment. Screams, sobs, and that awful, relentless scratching, till the children started having nightmares, waking up in tears, claiming a sad lady was crying under their beds. Sleep became a luxury the Johnsons could no longer afford. Their dream home had become a house of horrors. Desperate, Sarah started asking around the neighborhood. Most people were tight-lipped, their eyes darting away nervously whenever she mentioned the old house. Finally, an elderly woman who had lived on the street her whole life pulled Sarah aside, her voice trembling. "You need to leave that place," she whispered. "That house. It holds a terrible sadness." She told them a story from decades ago, a local legend about a family who lived there. They had a young daughter who, one tragic day, vanished without a trace. Parents searched for weeks, their cries of grief echoing through the town. They eventually moved away, their hearts broken, but some say the little girl never truly left. Driven by a mix of fear and a desperate need for answers, Mark decided he had to know for sure. With a crowbar in hand, he began prying up the floorboards in the living room, right where the scratching was loudest. Too. The old wood groaned in protest. As he pulled the final board free, a wave of cold, stagnant air rushed up from the darkness below. He shone his flashlight into the crawlspace. At first, he saw nothing but dirt and cobwebs. But then, the beam landed on it. Not a skeleton. Not what he had feared, too. It was an old, weathered phonograph, the kind you have to crank by hand. Next to it lay a single, cracked record. His hands shaking, Mark reached down and carefully lifted the record. Etched into its surface were two words: Mummy. Daddy. He placed it on the turntable and gave the crank a tentative turn. The speakers crackled to life, and a sound filled the room. Not music, but the recorded sound of a little girl crying, followed by the sound of fingernails scratching against wood. The record was stuck in a loop, playing the same terrifying sounds over and over. It seems the little girl, perhaps playing a game of hide-and-seek, had accidentally locked herself in a hidden compartment under the floor. Her parents, never hearing her cries, had unknowingly left her behind. The screams were just a recording, an echo of a tragedy, accidentally triggered by the vibrations of the family living above, a ghostly message trapped in time. The mystery was solved, but the chilling sadness remained. The Johnsons couldn't stay. They packed their bags, leaving the old house and its tragic secret behind, a stark reminder that some screams never fade away. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more mysteries. We'll see you in the next video.